Good day, my name is Joe. I hope you're well. The reason for this video is to share my experiences with you in buying, acquiring land here in Ghana. If you don't know my story, I'm a Ghanaian born. My mother took me to the UK at the age of 10, my brother and I, and we're living in there for over 30 years. I'm in my early 40s now. Ever since my mother took me to the UK, when I came back at the age of 17, I knew I would eventually be in Ghana for the long term. So it makes sense to start building businesses here. And because I think the mistake I see people making is that, especially when they travel to the UK, travel to the US, they end up coming back in their old age, like 60s, maybe they're like in their 50s and all that. And I didn't want that. And obviously building a business is very challenging. So I don't want to be doing that in my 60s. Definitely not. So while I have that, strength, and obviously I'm hoping to have a lot of strength when I'm 60. But to make it easier on myself, right? I want to do it while I'm younger, right? So I have a bit of experience buying, acquiring land here in Ghana, because if you're going to be here, you might want to build a house, or you might want to buy land, maybe to build and then to rent out for property. You might want to do Airbnb, you might want to rent out long term, you might want to build a church, you want to build some stores, whatever it is you want to do, right? But you need to acquire land to do that. And obviously the easiest way I'm seeing people buying land is they acquire the land through an estate. Sometimes these estates, they buy land in bulk and they register the land, the entire land, and then they start, obviously demarcating and then selling the plots. So I think I'm seeing more people feeling more comfortable just buying it from a state. But if you are not buying from a state and you are buying it from an individual, I guess no matter what, I think it's risky, but you can't just say life is risky, so you're not going to participate, right? There's always risk. Even crossing the road is a risk, but you want to make it as a calculated risk as possible. So I think if you're going to buy land, the advice that I'll give is that, let's say if you have identified a plot of land that you want to buy, ideally it would be great if you know someone associated with the land. It doesn't mean that if you know someone, the land is completely safe. I'm just saying it helps if you know someone who knows someone. It helps. So even if whether you know someone or you don't know someone, you have the land, obviously you want to conduct a search at Lands Commission. And normally the seller will give you his site plan for you to take it to Lands Commission and carry out a search on that. And if you are doing a normal search, that could take months, I think, a month or over. So people don't tend to do that. People tend to pay extra to get it maybe within 2 weeks or 1 week. Last time I checked, to get an express, I had to pay. I did it for my sister. She had to pay 1,003, which is 30 million old Ghana cedis. New Ghana cedis 1,003. For example, with her, the guy gave my sister a site plan to go and carry out a search. But then I advised my sister that, hey, how do we know if this site plan this guy is giving us is for this particular plot of land, right? Because I am not a surveyor. How would I know that if this site plan you are giving me is this for this particular plot of land and it's not for the one next to it? So I don't know that. So what I normally advise is, why not get a surveyor to pick the land, generate a site plan, and then use your site plan to conduct the search and then confirm if the name at Lands Commission is the same as the guy who is selling you the land, right? And the original, if the guy has his papers, the indenture and all that kind of stuff, you have to analyze all those things. And if you can, maybe get a lawyer involved get a solicitor involved, someone who can maybe handle the legals for you. I didn't always, the lands that I bought, I didn't always had a lawyer involved. For example, this house that I live in, I did have a lawyer on board when I was buying it at the time. So I just wanted that peace of mind. Actually, it wasn't actually me who requested for the lawyer. Actually, I had a peace of mind when I was buying this particular house, because the lady that sold the house to me is a Jamaican lady, and that Jamaican lady happens to be a friend of my mother's. So, but I still felt better having, because I've never bought a house before here in Ghana, so I just wanted to go through, make sure everything is done, documented properly. So why not have someone look over the, conduct, represent you? But if you don't want to use a lawyer, then you have to make sure that your homework is done properly, like making sure you conduct a search using your own site plan, and then and also negotiating for you to do something on the land before you make payment. That would be very good, because sometimes if you make payment and then you're about to start taking possession of the land, you're going to have issues, because someone will rise up and say, this is my land, and they will bring the police and start being all silly about it, right? So I think some of the land I have bought before, sometimes I will negotiate and tell them, listen, I want to do something on the land. Once we have kind of negotiated on the price that we are going to pay, I'll let him know, listen, I don't want to give you any money up front right now. I want to weed the land, or even buy stones as if I'm about to do filling on the land, and then see who rises up. And then if nobody comes saying that this is my land, then I'll say, okay, I'll give you 50% of the payment, and then while I'm working on the land for a period of time, I'll give you the other. You get the documents together for me. So when the document is ready, and while I have a period of time to take possession of the land, maybe doing a fence wall, doing a single room, within that period, when the documentation is ready, you give me the documentation, I'll give you the half of the money. And also, before you even get that far, you need to even do your background search in the area, because you need to maybe go around that area and just start asking, hey, Kojo said that this land belongs to him. Is that true? Hey, this man over there saying that the land belongs to him. Is that true? Just do your research, because obviously you're about to part with a large sums of money. So you don't want, and getting that back can be hell. So I would say, take your time and do your research properly, and just make sure that you're comfortable before you give your money away. So some of the experiences I had, for example, when I bought the land that I have my factory on, you're gonna get it can be so frustrating, especially with this land guard. Whenever you're trying to take possession of the land, they're gonna come demanding, pretending that the land belongs to them, sometimes being all silly, and obviously they want money, right? So I had different people come saying the land belongs to them, and while you are going through that, if you've never been through that before, it can be very troubling and stressful, and you just feel like, what's the point? Am I going to lose my money? Because for example, one time I entered the land, I had a fence wall. Even I built a little fence wall around it. It didn't stop this guy. Someone called me that there's a guy in your land, because I bought 6 plots. There's a guy on your land, trying to pull 2 plots out of my 6 plots. So when I got there, this guy was laying bricks on the land, saying this part of my land belongs to him, right? And then I went to my guarantor and told him about what is going on, and then obviously he came and removed him from the land, and which shows that I went through the right people to get the land. So that's the land actually doing the factory, the plastic recycling on. You're gonna get people just coming saying that the land belongs to them, blah blah blah. But I have possession of the land. I built a fence on it. I had a single room with someone living on it. And that's the other thing. Once you part with money, you want to take possession of the land as quickly as possible. Take possession, because if you have possession, it says a lot, and especially, and then also with your document, it's good, right? Take possession by doing a fence wall. Make sure you do your fence wall around it. Do it quickly. Maybe if you're not ready to develop as soon as possible, it's better to develop it. If you have a planned mind, start developing it straight away. Or if you can't develop it, build a single room, right? And then have someone live on the land and watch it for you, right? And that person should feed you with information in case anybody comes. For example, the other day, there's a guy living on one of my land where some guy saying, "Oh, this part of the land belongs to him," and right now, the guy's taking the matter to the police station, saying the land is his. So the police want me to come to the police station and speak on the matter, which is a waste of time. I've experienced this before. There's even one I'm going through now. There's this house that I live in right now. There's a lady that lives, let's say my neighbor. She lives adjacent to me. She has a parcel of land in front of her, or part of her land, let's just say, almost half plot. She wants to sell it to me, and then so I bought it, right, because she lives on the land. She's my neighbor, and then all of a sudden someone rose up saying, "Hey, you can have this land. This part of the land actually belongs to him." And this guy even took me to court, took me and the lady to court, saying that the lady has wrongfully sold his land to him, but then the lady lives on the land, right? And everybody in the area recognized that this land belongs to this lady. But what he has done is he has gone to the Lands Commission using devious means. He has registered the lady's land in his name. So he was using that as scare tactics to maybe try and extort money from me, thinking that I would just give him money. So he took us to court, actually. And then, so when he was taking us to court, I thought, oh, maybe the land does belong to him. So why would he have the confidence to take me to court and the lady? But then we show up in court. This guy has only come twice since, that was last year he took us to court. He's only showed up twice. Since then, he never shows up. He has never shown up again. So every time we go to court, he's never there, right? So I don't know whether they're going to just strike it out or whatever is going to happen, but we're going to see what's going to happen about that. But he just never shows up. What else? One time, one of the land my wife and I bought, we started to develop it, and all of a sudden, a guy, should I say a group, came there. Actually, the police came saying, "Hey, we have to go to the station. You are building on someone else's land." We went to the police station. Actually, I wasn't there. They came to arrest one of the mason that was working on the development. They arrested the mason. So they said that they were arresting the mason because he's working on the land that doesn't belong to him. So at that time I was in town, so I called the one that sold, the man that sold the land to me, who happens to live on the back of the land that I bought. It's on the roadside. And so I said, "Oh, this was happening. They're working on the land. The police has come and arrested the mason." And so the man kindly took his documents to the police station and bailed him out. And then they said that we could go back to work. And after they showed the document, and apparently we're working on the land the following day, the police came again saying, "Hey, you're still working on land. We told you to stop work." And it became this stupid back and forth at the police station that some guys this is in Kaswa, by the way. Some guys, I think, using the police as a scare tactics to try and see if they can take the land from myself, because all of a sudden the police were saying they need to do a search, which was crazy. I said, why do you need to search for a land that is already, we have already taken possession? And plus that my guarantor who lives on the land, he has owned, he owns 4 plots of land, right? He has used two out of the 4, and he has sold the other 2 to me. And he has already taken possession on all 4 land, because even when I bought it, there was a 3-bedroom development on the land which I demolished and then built a single room, because the 3-bedroom was kind of like in the middle of the land and I didn't like it and I just wanted to start fresh. So I demolished that one, built a single room, completed the fence wall, and then I'm just waiting when I'm ready. So when we started doing something on there, these people arrived saying that the land belongs to them, and then they say, no, you must do it, we must do a search. The police saying we must do a search. It didn't make sense, because I have my documents, my guarantor is there, my guarantor lives on the land, it's a 4 plot of land. So if you are going to take, let's say if you are going to take, if they are questioning about that 2 plots of land that belongs to me that haven't done much on it, then you should also take the other 2 that is remaining from my landlord, or from my guarantor, who has already built stores, on this land. So it's just a stupidity, right? Stupid case. But then I sensed that, corruption is everywhere, but in Ghana, it's just blatant that they were using the police. Maybe they've taken some money, and then they wasn't just being fair to us. So we took the matter to, the Central East police station, and they withdraw. They called for the dockets to review the case properly, and finally common sense prevailed after back and forth months. And then because they even did some fraudulent activity at Lands Commission, where when you do a search, their name will then appear there. But my landlord's name has been there since 1995, and when they inserted their names onto the land, you would think they would insert their land before 1995, but they inserted their names onto the land 2016, which is stupid. If you're going to still stamp that, at least use common sense. So yeah, it was just a foolish case, but that just kind of wasted my time, and I was I'm not gonna lie, at the time, obviously I've never been through something like this before, so I was a bit stressed out, I'm not gonna lie. So I would just say, when you are dealing with any land issues in Ghana, just keep calm, right? Keep calm. If you have the backing of, obviously, hopefully you got it through the right means. If you got it through the right means, you don't need to worry. Just keep calm. It will all play out, in your favor. So, yeah, buying land in Ghana is no joke. So you have to be strong, and yeah, just make sure that you do your due diligence before you part with money, because once you part with money, getting it back is going to be hell for you. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. I know, trust me. So, and I've heard, crazy stories. So be careful when you're buying land. Let me just recap. If you're going to buy land, do your search, preferably get a surveyor to pick the land, use your own site plan to do the search, get ID, confirm that the land belongs to the person who you are dealing with. If it does not belong to the person, can the person prove it? Yeah. If it doesn't belong to the person you're talking to, by saying, oh, the land belongs to my auntie died. Okay, do we have, documentation, proof of, death and all that kind of stuff? Just, vesting accents. You just want to dig in, consider using a lawyer, solicitor, and once you are happy with the search and that you are confident that the land belongs to the person you are talking to, you want to negotiate to take possession as soon as possible. Preferably, if you can start that process before you make any payment, that would be good, because if the land really truly belongs to the guy, why wouldn't you do that? So it just depends on how you negotiate, but normally it tends to be like you pay 50% upfront, and then the owner will start doing the documentation for you. Maybe at that time, then you start taking possession, and then when the documentation is ready, you balance the person, and then you continue the work. But the key thing is take possession as soon as possible. Take possession as soon as possible by building a fence wall, or constructing a single room for someone to live on it and watch it for you and feed you information just in case you have any litigations on the land. So yeah, that's been some of my learnings being in Ghana. But the main thing, just keep a cool head, breathe and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I hope you found this video useful. Please like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next video.